Okay, I know how that sounds, but hear me out. Hear me out for a second. I've been reading this book called Ego's the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, and it teaches you about the corruptions and dangers of ego. Apparently, passion is related to this and can hold you back if not careful enough. So, let's get into it. Disclaimer: I'm just a guy. All right, I'm just sharing what I've learned. You you don't have to really take everything I say too seriously. Anyways, I think I'm gonna build a house for today while I talk about this. So I think I'll show on screen what I want to build. So why? Why not be passionate? Don't people tell us to find our passion, go out there and do it brazenly, or even that burning desire? Well, from what I understand, that might be a problem. The passion where you're full of emotion, where you feel like you can climb or conquer the highest mountain, or thinking to yourself that you're going to be the greatest or first, blah blah blah. And what I like to call the high of passion can lead you on the wrong path. I think I probably have to dig this out, this entire section for a bit. So let me do some Minecraft stuff while I dig. So let's start digging. That kind of passion can dull your senses. It can make you ignorant to potential mistakes or roadblocks down the road. You might even make careless decisions or make very impatient choices that might blow up in your face. All because you're full of this strong passion or desire, right? Take the inventor of the Segway, for example, Dean Kamen. To keep a long story short, Dean Kamen and many of his investors believed that the Segway would be a revolutionary invention. Steve Jobs thought that it would be as big as the PC or personal computer. So he spent a lot of time and money, and I mean a lot of money, and basically everything into it. But in the end, it ended up a big failure. From only selling like 140,000 units in a decade of its lifespan, it failed to meet a lot of high expectations, and also after many accidents, ceased production in 2020. So, yikes. Also, I'll link a video detailing more on the Segway down in the description. I think I'm not gonna make it too big. Maybe. Probably have to move this. So, what can we learn? Well, I feel like a good lesson to take is that he believed in his ideas too much, right? He also actually, he fell in love with his solution too much as well. And because of that, he failed to see how many ways the Segway would have failed. Even making comments that the Segway will be how the calculator is to pen and paper, or something to that extent. And I feel like with many of us are very susceptible to this. That includes me too, alright? Like, I'm having thoughts like, man, I wonder if this video will blow up, right? Make my career, or even like, I would get attention of a big YouTuber. But, first of all, these are all very dumb ideas. And second, it's not that point. What I say matters most is purpose. Yeah, I wonder if a smaller house would make it more cozy, you know? Why not be cozy maxing or whatever? I have no clue what I'm saying. Okay, so now what is purpose? Purpose, to quote a book, is passion with boundaries. Purpose can ground you into realism and stop that high of passion that I mentioned earlier. That realism or reality detaches you from your delusion and gives you clarity or perspective. And I'd say that passion makes you impatient. It makes you want to rush things and bet everything. And purpose makes you sit down and think on what is important instead of, well, what you feel. To quote the book again, passion is about, I am so passionate about blank. Purpose is to and for. I must do blank. I was put here to accomplish blank, and I'm willing to endure blank for the sake of this. Purpose is about doing something greater than yourself, to ignore all the hype and biases, to concentrate on what matters and what must be done. Ah man, it's almost nighttime, this is gonna suck. Hey, this kind of feels too small, thinking about it. Oh my gosh, not the phantoms, bro. I'm gonna hide. I don't care anymore. I will hide. Ouch. Frick you. Ah, shucks. Ow. Frick off. Where the frick is my blocks? Bro. I'm... Frick off. Ah, well, I guess I'm stuck in this hole now. Again, with me, my purpose is to make a video. Or just to make something, anything really. Because for the longest time, I felt stuck and unmotivated. And I realized that this motivation or passion will never come. And sometimes it does. But in the end, it all fades too easily. But purpose does not. My responsibility or obligations does not change whether I feel like it or not. This video, well, when it comes to getting made, does not care if I want to work on it or not. It is either I do or I don't. I feel like I'm getting a little bit too serious here. So let me give you another example. Something more fun, or I'd say lighthearted. I recently watched the Karate Kid movie, the 80s one specifically, and there's one scene that stood out to me. To give context, the Karate Kid has a problem. He has bullies that keep picking on him, and actually beat him up. So with the help of his sensei, he confronted the bullies and their sensei to make a deal. The bullies can pick on him until the day of the tournament. The bully's sensei agrees, and now the Karate Kid has to train in 2 months for the tournament. Now we get to this scene, where the Karate Kid sensei explains the rules to him.
Let's make sacred pact. I promise teach karate. That to my part. You promise learn. I say you do. No question. That to your part.
Then when him and his sensei finally make a deal, the Karate Kid, expecting a handshake, receives a sponge instead.
Deal?
Steal?
Yes. First wash all the car, then wax. Wax.
Wait, why do I have to wash all the car?
Remember deal. No question. Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand. Wax on, wax off.
Although it seemed like the sensei just wanted him to do chores, it turns out that those same chores actually taught him the forms of karate.
Show me wax on, wax off. That! 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 That!
And the Karate Kid realized this also. So, why? Why am I mentioning this scene? Well, here's my interpretation. Back to the scene where his sensei explains the rules, I like to think that the Karate Kid is very full of passion. At that moment, he's thinking that he can finally get back at his bullies, win the tournament, and be a master at karate. He probably thinks that his training will be like the fierce and toughness of his bullies' training. Even with all of that thinking, his sensei just hands him a sponge and tells him to clean and wax the scars. But again, just like we saw and talked about, it was to teach him the basic karate forms. But to me, I like to see it as an act of grounding. In a sense that this is where he starts. Not with the punching, kicking, and yelling and all that stuff, but simply from the basic chores. Chores that taught him the basics and his fundamentals. Then, when the Karate Kid started to get impatient, his sensei finally showed him what it was for. It finally made sense to him. He understood the purpose. And with that, he was able to win the whole tournament. Not easily, but still. Again, not because of the proud and mighty kicks and punches, but because of...
Wax on, wax off.
Well, my takeaway from this is I feel like when we start our careers, we think it's going to be a grand start. That'll be adventurous, enjoyable, and intense. I know I have. But soon, I understood that a lot of times it isn't like that at all. It's slow, boring, and sometimes dreadful. But to me, understanding your purpose, knowing the reason why you're doing all of this, understanding that can help you a long way. It helps you to drown out the noise, the praise, and the doubt. I'm not saying it's easy. Heck, I'm still figuring out. I'm still learning how to do that. And I'm not saying to not have fun. I still believe that's very important. Now before I go, here's one more quote with the book I'd like you to leave with. It would be far better if you're intimidated by what lies ahead, humbled by its magnitude, and determined to see it through regardless.